All right, take flight with DISC. You see some birds on the screen. And take flight, it's clever, right? Take flight with DISC. So we're going to be talking about some birds. Before I get started, I need to ask, those 4 birds you see up on the screen there, because I have had an experience with those 4 birds, does anyone have negative cultural connotations with any of those 4 birds? Uh-oh. Oh, dear. The owl? Yeah, okay, I've had this issue elsewhere. Yeah. Of death. See? I told you. Okay. Thank you. We'll work around that. Others? No. If a parrot flew over and boop, that's different. Dove poo. Right. That's different. Okay, we've gone. I appreciate the levity for lunch, for after lunch in the afternoon. All right, I have to wear owl. Okay, where? Thank you. Okay. Take flight with DISC. I still have nothing to disclose to you. Here's our objectives with this session. I'll let you have a look at those. All right. We left before lunch with a conversation around emotional intelligence. We're in the lead self section of the week. And part of lead self, self-awareness, self-regulation. This DISC conversation is about that. It is how can we be more self-aware? How can we learn to further self-regulate? That's really what we're pursuing here today. So it's an extension of that emotional intelligence conversation we have just had. And so I'm going to ask you not to look at my slides in your binder because there's secrets in there. At least until I give out the results of your assessment. Then you can look at my slides. Is that a deal? Yeah. Okay, because I'm going to ask you some hard questions. The answers are in the slides. So I want you to think. Okay, thank you. Excellent. So here's the first question. What is DISC? What do you perceive it? You've took an assessment. So what do you perceive DISC as being? What is it? Ooh, so louder. Go ahead, say again.
Behavior and conversation style,
So behavior and communication.
Communication.
Yeah, behavior and communication style. So, did you look at the slides?
No.
Or is that you already know that?
I just remember that it was in a test, so I'm making a mark.
It was on the test. It was on the test. Can you pass that back? Yeah. Very good. Behavior and communication. Awesome.
I just wanted to say a similar comment because it was in the test. I even wrote it down, so I check it. What is that? And this is abbreviation that stands for different types of behaviors. But I just checked D and C, which was on our test. It is dominant and co something.
Right, and I wrote that test question, so I think I'd remember that. Okay, thank you. Behavior and communication. So it is behavior and communication style preference. Often when I ask this question, what is DISC, to a group of people, the word personality comes up. Did any of you think that when you were taking the assessment? This is a personality test. Anybody think that? Because if you say no, I'm going to hurt myself for actually putting that in your head now, because I'm going to take it right back out. So personality style, we leave that, let's put personality style out in the courtyard. That is not what DISC is supposed to be. Do you know Myers-Briggs, MBTI, any of those terms? That's personality. They purport to tell you who you are as a person. What is your personality? And we stay away from that. Personality feels static. It feels fixed. It can feel fixed. I know we all change and grow over time, and personality does feel like who you are, and you have ownership on that. It is instead preference. So communication and behavior, style, preference. And I'm going to use those words, communication and behavior, right? Evan talked to you about behavior. Leadership is a collection of behaviors. And DISC is how do you prefer to behave? How do you prefer to show up? And how do you prefer to communicate? So we're going to use that language. And we're going to use that language in neutral or positive ways. So I'm not going to say negative language here, right? Neutral language or positive language only around behavior and communication. So there's no right style or wrong style. There's no best style or worst style. There are 4 fundamental styles. DISC is an acronym, D-I-S-C. And I'll have those words, but we won't need to remember them because we use birds to remember them instead. There may be a best style for a given situation. You're chuckling at me already. What happened? What did I do? Okay. There may be a best style for a given situation. So, right, but each of those styles has its own superpowers, and so different situations may call for different styles. We'll explore that a little more. DISC helps us blow up some assumptions that we make about the world. Here's a couple of those assumptions. That people are all motivated by the same thing. Or rather, that everyone's motivated by the same things I am motivated by. Can I get you to do a quick survey? But I need that survey to be anonymous, which means I might need you to close your eyes for a minute if you're feeling trusting. Okay. I'll ask you the question, and then I'll ask you to close your eyes and vote. So you don't have to close your eyes yet, because it's right after lunch. If I ask you to close your eyes right now, or it could be napping, I'm not looking for that. Okay, here's the question. If you're going to be recognized, say by your boss, by your manager, for doing good work, right? Your manager wants to recognize you for doing some good work. There's 2 ways I'll ask you to think about that person might recognize you. First, gift card. Do you know that? A gift card? Small. I would say for US $25, but at whatever, small, buy you lunch, let's say. Enough to buy you lunch. Or, that's your first choice. Or, handwritten thank you note. Those are your choices. You look surprised. Handwritten thank you note. So, thank you, handwritten thank you note. Those are your choices. I'm going to ask you to vote which one you would prefer to receive. Okay? All right, now it's time to risk our eyes closed if you're feeling trustworthy, trusting. Okay, eyes closed. If you would prefer the gift card, hands up for the gift card. If you prefer that, put your hand up for the gift card. Okay. Okay, hands down. If you would prefer the handwritten thank you note, hands up. Okay, hands down. Very good. All right, for those of you, you have a different vote. You changed your vote? You voted twice? Okay. For those of you who did close your eyes, predict what that outcome was. How did that go? What was the vote? Only if you closed your eyes, because if your eyes were open, you saw what happened there. You think 50-50. 30-70 which way?
Yeah, like the 30% for the first option.
30-70, what do you? 40-60, 40 for the money, 60 for the thank you. Anyone want to go the other way? No? So yes, I see you're onto me already. I knew you were something about you. Okay, maybe it says something about the US. When I do this in the US, I get 2/3 for the money. That's what people guess. People guess 2/3 for the money, 1/3 for the handwritten thank you note. That's what people predict. You all are going the other way. You're predicting from 50-50 to 60-40, 70-30 even for thank you card. Those of you whose eyes were open, which way did it go? 70-30 for the handwritten thank you card. Yeah, only 8 of you voted for the money, which leaves 20, let's do the math, 26 of you, so that's even more than 70-30, right? 26 of you said handwritten thank you cards. Okay, so you're a little bit more in touch with what might have happened. The thing is, we tend to assume that people are motivated by the same thing as we are. And organizations tend to think people are motivated by the same thing. At least US organizations tend to see people think are motivated by the gift card, the money. When in fact, at CHOP, when we do this, 2/3 go for handwritten thank you card. And some people would say, how about a handwritten thank you card with a gift card inside of it? That's the one I vote for. Okay, not everybody's motivated by the same thing, and that's important. If I were to give you a third choice, we would have split that vote even further, right? People motivated by different stuff. We make an assumption that people communicate the same way that we do, or at least organizations tend to set themselves up in ways that assume this. Our organization loves email. Email everything. Email, email, email. That's how we communicate. Email everything. Does everyone love to communicate in email? Do you all love email? So why do we use it so much? Just interesting. We don't all communicate in the same. If we all communicated in the same way, there'd be no disagreements. There'd be, right? We would all communicate perfectly well. That we all approach work in the same way. Our organization loves the small group, the work committee. We need to do something. Let's put a small group together and figure it out. Do your organizations do this? Yeah? We love it. Let's get some consensus and bring some people together. Does everyone want to work on a small team? Some people like to work by themselves, independently. Sure, some people like that. Organizations tend to set themselves up as we assume everyone likes to work that way. And lastly, that people instinctively understand me, that they know what I need. Okay, not everybody, but the people who know me, they get me. You all think that, right? They get me. So let me ask you this. Have you ever done this? Be honest. You're having a conversation with someone, and you don't quite understand what they're saying. And so you say, wait, okay. Say that again. And they say it again. You still don't understand what they're saying. And you just say, oh, okay. And you move on. You're laughing, so I assume have you done this? Of course, yes. Have you done it today? Have you done it to me? No. Don't laugh too hard, because okay. So what do you think the chances are then that someone has done that to you? 100%. This has happened to you. Yeah. And you don't know because they said they got it and you moved on. So you don't even know when that's happening to you. So people don't. Even the people you know, right? I'm sure my wife has done that to me already today, and it's 6 hours earlier over there. So she just got out of bed. Right? So we're blowing up some of these assumptions. So what is DISC measuring? This. How do you prefer? I use that word prefer, preference. How do you prefer to solve and respond to challenges and issues? How do you prefer to influence? Influence is a big word. We're using it a lot this week. How do you prefer to influence others? And then how do you respond to the pace and the environment. Prefer. How do you prefer to show up? I'm using that word a lot. Prefer, right? It is not preordained about how you will show up. You get a choice on how you show up. This is about how you prefer to do so, right? We choose our behavior. This is how do you prefer to do it. I have cool slide transitions, by the way. Have you noticed? Okay, a couple of last things. All styles are positive. We have 4 styles. They are all positive, contribute to the world in meaningful ways. Each has a superpower. We celebrate those superpowers. And adaptability. We all have the ability to flex, to be flexible in our styles and adapt. And we all have all 4 styles. It's just a matter of intensity. So there are 4 styles. We have a preference, and we have all 4 just a matter of intensity. How much of each style do we have? Are you with me so far? It is hot in here, and we just ate. That makes my job harder. I have to keep you in. Okay. Let's talk about the styles. They are birds. We use birds instead of the words. The words, I'll put them up. The acronym, DISC, there's words for them. You'll see them up there. They're hard to remember, and then you have to remember the word and what the word means in the context. We use the bird. Bird's easy to remember. At least in the US, we use the birds. The birds sort of have they evoke some of the behavior and communication styles that live there. You'll see what I mean, hopefully. I will change the one. Okay, eagle is the first style, eagle style. And they draw the birds in ways that indicate the way that this style likes to show up. Do you see? This eagle is standing like this. Do you see that? So this is where it's hard. If I were to tell you there's a behavior and communication style preference that we call eagle, what would those behaviors look like? Eagle. Think about this. Confident. Wonderful. Right? That's what you see, right? Yeah. Ambitious. Yeah, good. Oh. Can see small. All right, that's good. So, yes, so you heard eagle in English, eagle eye is a saying which means can see far, can see small things. What that translates to here is likes to, strategic thinker, right? So likes to see big picture, right? Context. You think about an eagle flying high and being able to see all of the things. That's what it means in this context. Big picture, strategy-oriented thinking. All right, give me one more. Bold. All right, did you jump into my slides? That's what it sounds like. You all said bold. Okay. Here's a few more. So this style, results-oriented, outcome-focused, decisive, right? It's about decisions. It's about action. Bottom line, and my favorite word. Okay, so you see this word here. This is the D style for disc, dominant. I don't love that as the D word for this style. I prefer a different D word. Direct. For me, direct is a much better description of this style than dominant. Direct, that's it. Direct, just tell me. Get to the point. Bottom line, bullet points, outcomes, action, decision. That's this style. Do you know people like this? Are you people like that? Some of you, sometimes. Ooh. Okay. Eagle. All right, let's move to this one. Parrot. Just look at the picture. It's colorful, smiling. I don't know if you can tell, this is supposed to be a bird smiling. Birds. So what do you got? So parrot, colorful, smiling, what do you get from that? Attractive, good. Good-spirited, social, optimistic. Are you looking at my slides? Because this is awesome. Positive. Most speak than do. Oh, that's good. Wow. Okay, nailed it. Okay, let's go. You got it. Yeah, optimistic. So you got the optimistic, motivational, inspirational, social. So we use the parrot, which is the bird that talks, right, to indicate social, right? That's why we use the parrot. So it's indicating it's social, relationship focused, relationship building and oriented. And we use the colorful version for creativity and fun. So creative, fun, all of those things. You see interactive is the I for disc. But you see it's an interactive style, that's what it means. And all of those things. Also big picture, right? So also a big picture thinker. So both eagle and parrot like to see the big picture. Can they see the details? Of course. Prefers to see the big picture context first before going into the details. That's what that means. And both of these styles share a communication preference, fast-paced and verbal communicators. Fast-paced and verbal. Do you see why these two might be fast-paced verbal preference? So an eagle wants to get stuff done, get it done, let's go, let's decide, let's move forward. Already we're fast-paced just in the way they like to show up. And verbal, meaning it's a lot faster to get to results if we just talk about it. Let's decide, let's make the, right? Not send an email and wait. Not so good for eagle. Okay, parrot is about relationship building. And a good way to build relationship is this verbal. And they're very fast-paced, so motivational, positive, inspirational, creative, right? Like really fast-paced. I'm showing up that way right now. Okay, 2 styles down. Good so far. This has meaning, surely. What do you get from this one? Dove is a symbol of peace, yes. Calm, good. Relaxed, laid back. Easygoing. Oh, bonus points for patient. I have chopped pens. I should be giving them out for these really good answers. I'll dig one out. Who said patient? Oh, I owe you a pen. One more. Empathetic, compassionate. What did you say? Oh, introverted. That's good too. Yes. Okay. Stable, predictable, helpful, great listener, empathetic, compassionate, kind, other-focused, focused on others, helpful, consensus seeking, so seeks consensus, agreement, and that's how they get stability, through that agreement and consensus. Dove style. Okay, I've got 3 up there so far. Do you see any preferences of yours up there yet? Yes, 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 no, I heard it. Yes, yes, yes. There's one, like, wait a minute, there's one missing. Yes, there is. I'll add these 2 on the right, the parrot and the dove. They share an approach to work that is people-oriented. Those are people-focused styles. You see that, yes? The parrot, social, interactive, and the dove, other-focused, consensus-oriented, team-focused. So how do they approach work? Through people. Parrot, more about who do I know, who can I call, who can I influence, and dove, more about what do we think. Let's get together and figure it out. So a lot of we here, parrots, doves, say we a lot. Okay, last one. This is where we, with me? I'm going to call this the wise ones. Wise ones. So I've given you a hint as to where, in the US, let me explain. In the US, this has a connotation of wisdom. It's the same. Not everywhere the same. I've run into this elsewhere where it means something else. I just want to make it clear that we're using that connotation here in this context, that it's a wise wisdom. Other behaviors that live here that you might think? If I say wisdom, think about what behaviors would make somebody wise. Experience. Matter of fact. Rational. Oh, so good. Attention to detail. Quiet. 2 pens for you. Logical. Yeah, you got it. Analytical, logical, rational, thinker. There's one else I put. Careful and tactful here as well. Yeah. See, right? Observant. Exactly this. Yeah, that's what we mean by using this. So, analytical, thoughtful, thinker, data, likes to make lists, check things off of lists. Do you? That's really, another pen over here. So that's really good. Like waits to speak. Listen first, right? Yeah, good. So that's part of that careful, tactful. Yeah, really good. This is a slide in your handout, which you can now go look at. I'm okay with you looking at my slides now. I just wanted to get this out before you started peeking at that. These two here, the wise and the dove, share a communication style preference of even-paced and reserved, right? Reserved, that's waits to speak, yeah. Remember, up top, those two styles, fast-paced, verbal. At the bottom, much more even-paced, reserved. Right? Slow it down a little. Take the energy level down a little bit. Might wait to speak, listen, reserved. Okay, there's all 4 styles. Now do you see yourself in there? Anyone not yet see themselves in there? See the people you know in there? Some people in your family perhaps in there? Okay. Last thing I'll say is these two on the left share an approach to work that is task-oriented. So what's the decision? What's the action? What's the project or process we are going to use? Right? Approach to work is more task-based. Who do I know? What do we think over on that side? On this side, what's the decision? What's the action? What's the process we're going to use? Focus on task versus focus on people. Different ways of getting there. Okay, those are our 4 styles. So all really different. And we all have all 4 to some degree. We just prefer to show up in 1 or 2 of them. Good so far? Okay.